So when are people going to realize that there are some relationships that just aren't worth it? Now, due to the content of this video, viewer discretion is advised. On October 2nd of 2020, 24-year-old Alyssa Burkett had just arrived at work. She worked at the Green Tree apartment leasing office over in Carlton, Texas. Alyssa was getting ready to walk into the building when somebody walked to her vehicle and shot at her. And after shooting at her, the person would go ahead and leave the scene, not realizing that Alyssa was still alive. Now, Alyssa, who was still alive, she would go ahead and get out her vehicle and try to go get help. But that's when the person who initially shot at her realized she was still alive and went back and finished the job. Man would go back and stab her 13 times before just leaving the area. Police were called to the area, in which when they got to the scene, they have found that Alyssa was no longer with us. So after questioning all the witnesses, they have found that it was a black man that came, shot at her, left, came back, and then stabbed her. Now, while police were questioning the witnesses, Alyssa's mother would show up at the scene, in which she was broke down crying, saying that she knew exactly who did this, in which she was pointing a finger at Alyssa's ex-husband, who was Andrew Beard. Now, police, they would go ahead and locate Andrew, who was with his fiancee Holly Elkins, and he also had his daughter Willow with him, in which the mother was Alyssa. So police would notify Andrew what had happened, but they didn't arrest him there because even though that the mother pointed out saying that he was involved in it, they had no proof that he actually did it. And despite the fact that all the witnesses said that it was a black man, they just told him that he can go ahead and leave, but they also told him that he could not return home because police were doing a search of his home. Now, during the search of Andrew's home, they had found GPS tracker batteries as well as a charging station for it, which they thought was odd because it was a direct match for a GPS tracker they had found in Alyssa's car that day. Now, Alyssa's family would even tell police that Alyssa was afraid of Andrew because somehow he always knew where she was at all times. In the search of Andrew's vehicle, they found 2 bottles of dark foundation makeup. That's when the police realized that the black man wasn't actually a black man. They would come to find out that Andrew had used that makeup to blackface himself. And not just that, the getaway vehicle that the so-called black man had used was found no more than a half a mile away from Andrew's house. Andrew, realizing that he was caught, he would go ahead and surrender himself over to the Carlton Police Department, in which he was charged with murder, but he was released on bond 2 weeks later. Now, out of fear for the safety of Andrew's daughter, they would go ahead and enlist the help of the FBI to put Andrew back in custody, because during the search of his home, they had found an unregistered silencer. So Andrew was rearrested on new charges of cyberstalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death. So 2 years later, on June of 2022, Andrew would go ahead and plead guilty. And so 1 month after he took a plea deal, he would talk to FBI as part of his plea deal and point the finger at his fiancée, Holly Elkins. Andrew stated that Holly was the one that orchestrated everything. Andrew, he kept a text message between him and Holly the whole entire time. And based on the text messages, they knew that Holly had a deep hatred for Alyssa. Now, some of the text messages, they noticed that Holly was on vacation in Mexico when she ordered Andrew to murder Alyssa. Now, Holly would message Andrew by saying that, "I hope you handled it because I'm not coming back to BS." Which Andrew replied saying that that's the goal. Now, during his interview, Andrew would say that he basically just became submissive to everything that she wanted him to do. Now, it was rumored to believe that the reason why Holly hated Alyssa so much was because she had dreamed of having a life with Andrew as well as have a mother-daughter relationship with their daughter. But Holly couldn't have that as long as Alyssa was still in the picture. But what Holly is doing was known as resource protection. Now, what resource protection is when somebody who feels that their stuff such as food, clothing, housing, or sometimes even their mates are going to be taken away from them. So Holly used everything she could to try to take out the competition. So when all this was going down, Holly made sure that she was far away as possible because she felt that the further away that she was, the less involved that she seemed. But that didn't work out because she didn't realize that Andrew would turn on her. So 2 months after Andrew told the FBI everything, they would go ahead and arrest Holly at the Miami airport after she came back from a trip from the Dominican Republic, in which she was charged with conspiracy to stalk and stalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death. Holly would go ahead and plead not guilty, in which she took her case to trial, in which she was found guilty after the jury had deliberated for over 90 minutes. She was sentenced to 2 life sentences, which is longer than what Andrew got because Andrew only got 43 years in federal prison. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this story. Go ahead and put your comments down below. And if you like more true crime stories like this, go ahead and stay tuned for more videos to come. And if you're new, go ahead and check out my other videos as well too. And with that, love yourself and have a great day.